Guys, and welcome back to Memecoin Academy. On today's episode, I'm going to be giving you a macro outlook on the cryptocurrency market and where I think this is possibly heading in the next 6 months to 1 year. So if you like what you see today, please like and subscribe and follow our channel for more updates. Now, we're going to be looking at a few different charts today and a few different tickers. First of all, I'm going to be looking at the BLX. The BLX chart is the Bitcoin chart, which dates back to the beginning of time, which is this one here. We're going to be having a look at the macro outlook, the 4-year cycle theory, and also the halvings and how that generally plays out post-halving and what we can expect. And if this cycle is going to remain the same, what we can expect in the next 6 to 12 months. So we'll also be looking at Bitcoin, Ethereum, ETH, BTC. I'll do some Solana analysis and also some TON for you today. So I'll try and be brief with these because this could take a while. But first of all, I want to look at the BLX chart, which is what we have in front of us here. So the BLX chart is a culmination of all the data since Bitcoin's inception, right? So this chart doesn't get updated every second. It gets updated daily. So what you'll find with this chart is you won't see today's price action until tomorrow on this chart. But what it's great for is a really zoomed out high time frame view of the market as a whole. And it's what is very good to use for the analysis of the 4-year cycle theory and looking at the halvings themselves. So what I have here is, first of all, we're on a logarithmic chart at the moment. We're not on linear. We will go to linear. So I'll just go down here and click L. So now we're on linear, right? As you can see, the chart looks very different because we're looking at the moves in a percentage here, not the dollars. So here you can see the cycles going back to 2012. So we have our Bitcoin's inception around here. First cycle, first halving, right? First halving here in the blue line. Fast forward to 2016, we have our second halving. Fast forward here, we have our third halving, and we have just had our fourth. Now, one thing that is interesting about these halvings is we have generally a pre-halving dump, or a post-halving dump also, but then a post-halving pump, right? So here we can see that if we scroll in, we're on a weekly chart here. So Bitcoin found its bottom here and uptrended, right? This is going back to the 2012 year, which is, there's a lot of volatility here, right? It was very new. So it was acting more like an altcoin, right? So we've had this pump, we've had this pre-halving dump here, right? And then it's ranged sideways, but then we've moved and consolidated for sideways here for a period of about 90 days. And it took 90 days for Bitcoin, take our ray tool, to break its previous all-time high. So we'll put that in white. As you can see there, price comes up, rejects, and then pushes through. Okay, so that's the first cycle, right? We saw a retracement here. If we look at it more closely, let's get our price range tool. So we take that from there to there. So we saw a retracement here. Let's sort of drag it across. About 50%, right? There's a 50% correction on top of a big increase here, which is probably more like 150%. But there's still a pre-halving correction, right? Which ranged sideways for about, let's say, it's almost, if we drag this across the date range tool, right? If we take that pre-halving dump in consideration, we're up to, what's that? Nearly 4 months, right? So we'll leave that there for the sake of today. So that's the first one. Now let's have a look at the second one. So we'll go to 2016 and we'll look at this halving, right? So in this halving, Bitcoin bottoms, started to uptrend, right? And then this one is a little bit different because it was a pre-halving dump that went through the halving, and it became it was a downtrend through the halving, which didn't end until what's this, weeks. That's about 8 weeks, 9 weeks later, right? So what we can see here that's interesting is after the halving and after this pre-halving dump, the price took the price action took 160 days, right? Or roughly 160 days. Let's just take this out a little bit more to, where is it here? Roughly 238 days till it broke its previous all-time high. So we'll put this one on here. There we go there. So there's 90 days on the first one, and it took 238 days for price to actually break its all-time high. It rejected here, but then broke, right? It actually took 182 days to actually get to its previous all-time high, but it found a rejection, right? So let's just say it took 230 odd days. So we'll take that into consideration. We'll move forward to 2018 year where it bottomed. 2018 downtrend, 2019 bottom. Then we had a move up, and then we had the COVID crash, obviously, 2020 halving, right? This was a pre-halving dump, right? The pre-halving dump here, price came back. Let's see. Price came back 70%, okay? 70% on that crash. Did we look at this one? What did price come back down here? What was this one? Did I look at that? I was going to refresh my memory here. What was it again? Let's have a little refresh. So look, it's about there. Yeah, right. So that was about, roughly 40%, let's say. That was a 40%. 50%, 40%, and then a 70%, right? COVID was a little bit of an anomaly, let's say. Like, it was more of a black swan. So, if we fast forward to where we are today, is that possible to happen here? Well, who knows? No one really knows. But if we take into consideration the averages of what it took and the time it took for price action to break its previous all-time high, which in this instance, price has already broken its previous all-time high. Well, if we put this candle here and we stretch out 160 days, on average, so let's say we had 90 days, 2012, 2016 was roughly was 180 odd, 230. So let's just say that this one, okay, we average it out to, let's say, 200. Okay. Well, that brings us to October, end of October this year, where price could possibly, right, come down, depending on what it does, to break its previous all-time high. Okay. Now, what else can we take into consideration here? Well, what we can take into consideration here is, if we go back in time, is to see how long price action took to make it a new all-time high from the previous halving, right? So let's have a look at that. So let's take our date range tool, okay? We'll take that from the halving itself. I'm on the price range tool, excuse me. We'll take that from here to its all-time high, right? New all-time high, 364 days. First halving took 364 days to find a new all-time high from the halving date. Let's fast forward here. How long did price take to find a new all-time high? That range again. We'll take it from here to here. It took, from the halving in 2017 year, 525 days. Okay, so that's 365 days, spot on to a year pretty much, to 525 days. What about this halving? What about this halving here? How long did it take to find its next all-time high? 2021 year. Let's have a look. We take that from the halving. We scroll across. Not this first one. The first one took, and note for reference, 336 days, but that wasn't our all-time high, right? So we take it to here. What do we have? Roughly 546 days. So far in the previous three halvings, it's taken roughly 550 to 500 days twice, and exactly 300 a year, right? 365 days on the first one. So if we look at today's current situation and see where we are in the cycle, where could our possible next all-time high come in? Well, if we take our date range tool from here, the halving date, and we take it out 365 days, that takes us to April 2025 is the possible first area for an all-time high. Okay, that's where it could be. Let's take it again out to 550 days as a rough guide. Where does that take us to? That takes us to October 2025. So in the span of things, there is, if the cycles keep playing as they have been, there's still a lot of time, okay? There's still a lot of time for price action to play out. So if someone's going to tell you that price is going to go to 100K by the end of this year, or price is going to go to 20,000 by the end of this year, they don't really know. They're just guessing, right? All we can do is play the probabilities of what's happening in front of us and the price action, okay? Could Bitcoin go lower? Absolutely. Could it find a bottom here and go higher? Absolutely. No one really knows. But if we look at the cycles playing out as they have been, well, it's possible that the probabilities are saying that we could break our previous all-time high, right, and go further up between, let's say, the times are getting longer for this to happen, looking at the previous cycles. So let's just say it's anywhere from 200 days to, as it's getting longer, let's say it's 250 days, right? Same as the last one. Well, that means that price could possibly break its previous all-time here by October to December this year. So how would that fit into the narrative of a new all-time high moving forward? Well, it would probably fit the narrative of, let's say, we just take some price. Let's just say price comes down to here. It moves up. It comes up, finds that, and then goes. You would think it would probably suit more so an October 2025 all-time high. Maybe. Could price come down, bottom, come up, find its all-time high here? Absolutely. And then retrace? Very possible. But no one knows. That's yet to be seen, okay? But it just gives you an idea of how these market cycles play out, right? And if we look at history and we look at the data that's provided to us, and if these 4-year cycle theories continue to play out, well, this is what we could be expecting, okay? Anywhere from a April all-time high to a November to December all-time high 2025, okay? Could it happen sooner? Anything's possible, especially in these uncertain times with, elections, US elections going on, inflation's still sticky, right? No one really knows what's happening. There's talk of rate cuts. There's talk of, relaxing monetary policy and all these sorts of things, but we don't know. It's everything's still very volatile. I mean, the equity markets are still going up. So it's an interesting time, I mean, last night there was an assassination on President Trump, actually just 2 or 3 hours ago. So who knows how all these things leading up to the election are going to play on the markets as a whole, okay? Because cryptocurrency is highly, highly affected by the legacy markets, right? So we'll just have to see what happens here. So next we'll have a look at Bitcoin itself. So we'll have a macro outlook on Bitcoin. So for this, I'll go back to a log chart. So we're on logarithmic here. So we'll just mark out some levels. We'll go to a monthly time frame and just see what we've got here. What have we got of interest here? 25 seems a little bit unrealistic at the moment, so I'll just not mark that. We've got a weekly. I'll try and be brief with these guys because this analysis does take some time. We have a lovely weekly level here, weekly support and resistance level, so I'll take that one. Template, saved. This is what I love about TradingView, everything's saved. Not like your Dex Screen or your Photons, which have the TradingView plugin where you can't save anything. It drives me absolutely crackers. What else do we have here? We have a weekly level here. Right. We should have, being it's Sunday, I don't usually trade on the weekends, without blue chip cryptos, just because, the volume's low, the equity markets are closed, US stock markets closed, nothing's happening, right? Volume's low. So you don't particularly want to be trading Bitcoin on the weekends specifically, right? You want to see volume come in for the price action to move because you can just get chopped up on the weekends. But Sunday is also a good time to look at getting into positions for the start of the week. Not always, but it's a good time to start to look. And this is Sunday Australia time I'm talking about, in the afternoon and the evening. So, yeah, it's a good time to keep an eye on it. So we'll just keep going with this. So what we're going to have tomorrow is another weekly close. So it'll be interesting to see how this candle closes, right? But for now, price has been trending upwards. Let's go to a daily level. Daily levels here, support and resistance. Okay. So we have one there. What's what doing here? This area here is very important, right? This is a very important. We've got one there, a little daily level there. So I'll flip there. We've got one here. Right. Let's have a look at that. From there. Oops. Yeah. It's all that's really interesting me at the moment. This one, yeah, this is one I like as well because the reason why I like this one is this is a good support area for continuation upwards, right? So at the moment, all those are tapped. This is our next level of support. Not really interested in anything above there at the moment. That one's sort of been front ran. That one possible, but this weekly is more interesting for me. So we'll go to a 4 hour. Let's see if there's no real interesting. No, we'll go to a 4 hour. Let's have a look at this. Okay, what do we see here? Okay. Interesting. Let's put a fixed range tool on here. Fixed range tool. We'll take it from this candle here across to, we'll take it to here. Right. Okay, so that's on that daily SR. So this is the volume of this range before the dump here. So what we could be looking at is price could come up, right? Could come up, it could SFP this and then come back under and reject. That's what we don't want to see, right? Or it could come up and just reject off this level and then come down. Yeah, it's difficult to know at the moment till the week starts, but it'd have to get back above this value area low. If it gets back above this value area low, right, of this range, well, then you would think it would be having continuation, right? If SFPs comes back and finds support here, then you'd be looking at continuation. Range theory would come into play, and the next level of interest would be this point of control. If it continues on after that, it comes up, continues on, it breaks this weekly, your next level of resistance is this weekly, right? And then at the top of this value area high, okay? If price continues to go up, well then, we're looking at all-time highs, okay? But if price doesn't and it rejects, well, what we're probably looking at here is, get rid of these. If price rejects, let's just say it does come up here. I mean, what it also could do is come back down, find support of this level and go first. And why am I saying that? Why I'm saying that is because if we take our Fibonacci pull from low to high, this lines up with our 618. Okay, lines up with our 618. Retrace, finds resistance off this level here, off this area here. Rejects, comes back down, and then breaks through and pushes up to this daily SR. So that's pretty much our two scenarios at the moment I'm looking at is rejection, down, find support of daily SR, and then go. However, if we don't find support here and we come under, well, then we'll be looking for lower. And this here is a massive support area. It is huge, okay? This is where I'll be looking for a bounce. Because if we look left, this is a big area of consolidation, right? Right here, big area of support, okay? Right there. That's what we're looking at. So we'll have to see how price reacts here, okay? If it doesn't find any support and then basically comes under, we're going a lot lower, right? The next level of interest is down here, okay? But that's for a different day. For now, we're just looking at what's happening in front of us. And we just have to see how the next week will play out, right? So just to recap, if price rejects here, I'm looking for a bounce at the daily SR. If it loses that, we're moving further down, okay? If price comes back above, let's just say price either comes down, comes back above, it keeps going, I'm looking for another either rejection here and then down, or we'll be looking for a reclaim of this level and then a reaction at the point of control. If it reclaims this point of control, right, we'll be looking further upside, a reaction here to see what happens. If it reclaims that and the value area high, we're off to the races, okay? But this could take weeks. Who knows, right? But something to keep your eye on. So that's the Bitcoin outlook for the moment. How the US markets react this week will be very interesting. So we'll have and how that'll affect Bitcoin. So we'll have to see how that plays out this week. Next, we will look at Ethereum. So I'll look at Ethereum USD and Ethereum BTC. Let's have a look here. So Ethereum is just following Bitcoin at the moment. Now, whatever Ethereum does is a great indicator of what the rest of the alts will do. So we're finding a bit of support here. Let's go to a monthly. What do we have here? Monthly level here. Monthly SR. This one's been tapped. Next one, no, not really. Down here, it's been tapped. 1900. I'm not really looking at those levels at the moment. Let's go to a weekly. we have, it's interesting that price here on this weekly level it's found support and come back above and close back above this level. So we'll put that on just for reference. So we've got this weekly level here. So that's very interesting. The next weekly level support is down here. Okay, they're my levels of interest at the moment. There's another one there. Not got it anyway. Just so look at that one. Yep. Got a daily strong support here on this daily, right? Which is this weekly area. So this is quite strong support here. Okay. Right. Yeah. Which is, there's a weekly order block here. Yeah, we'll mark that out too, because that's catching my eye. We've got this candle here, right? Or is it that one there? Is that one there? Seems to be good strong area of support there. Whoops. A little sucker there. Right. Roughly. Okay. I've mapped it out perfectly, but you get the idea. Strong order box support here, right? On a weekly. Okay, probably easy to see on a daily, my bad. Daily order block, finding support, right? Now, what's happening here? So the next daily level of interest is on this order block here, right? Which we will mark out. Daily support and resistance. Right. I'll take a fixed range of this as well. Right, what's happening here? Okay, so we're back above. We're back into our range here, okay? Back into our range. So if Ethereum's price holds this range, well, depending on what happens with Bitcoin, we could be looking at, let's see here, could be looking at maybe a retrace finding support coming back up, right? And it could SFP this point of control, come back down, and for further downside if it doesn't find support here, right? That's if things turn bad this week, right? Or over the next couple of weeks. But also if it's positive and the altcoin market starts gaining some traction, especially with these upcoming Ethereum ETFs, is range theory would suggest that we come back above if we don't reject at this point of control. If we find support on that, we'll be going to range high, right? And depending on what happens here and at this monthly SR level, right, we could possibly reject. And if price breaks through that, well, then we'll be looking at an all-time high on Ethereum. That's the levels I'd be looking at for, right? This is a level-to-level trading, right? This is what we're looking at. We're not looking at, okay, I'm entering here and then I'm expecting it to move. No, it has to. You have to look at the probabilities of what's going to happen next upon what happens at these resistance areas. Does it reclaim it? Yes. Probabilities are higher now that we're going higher. Does it reclaim the point of control? Yes. Probabilities are in our favor that we're going here. Okay. But if you're entering your trades, you want to be taking your profits at these areas, right? Let's just say it'd be the point of control first, right? My second area of profit would be this area here, okay? And then I'll be seeing what happens. Then, if let's just say you entered on a reclaim here, for, if not that saying that that's the trade, but let's say you did, right? And you entered here, right? Well, then your stop loss is under these lows here, right? Okay. Could it come down and SFP this and then go? Yes. No reason why it couldn't. Okay. No reason why price couldn't just come down here, SFP these lows, find support, and then come back above and go? Yes. Right. If you start to see weakness here, then that's what I'd be looking at down here. Okay. But if it doesn't, then you'd be looking at price coming lower and then down to this area here. Okay. Now we'll look at ETH BTC because ETH BTC is another great indicator of what's happening in the altcoin market, right? And it's been in this downtrend for a long period of time. So we had this support area here, right, which is this candle wick here. And price has come down. It's had a pump, and this is where here, this period here, is where the altcoin market really surged, right? Really had a good healthy uptrend, and a lot of alts saw some massive gains. Since then, it's been coming down. It swept this low again, right? It swept that, excuse me. It swept this low, this one here. Oops, let me change the color. What am I doing? Swept this low here, right? And it's come back above. The question is now, does it continue? Okay, do we find continued an uptrend here, right? So let's have a look. So used to using Dex Screener, I forget that my toolbar is up here. Very annoying. So let's just say this is our downtrend. Right, we'll take it from here just to give you a better idea. Right, so this is our downtrend, right? Making lower highs. So the question is what's going to happen here? Is price going to continue following this down and make new lows? If that happens, well, Bitcoin's gaining a lot more strength. That would mean Bitcoin dominance is probably heading up still. And that means that altcoins are going to get slaughtered. Okay. But if we see Bitcoin dominant, Ethereum BTC start to find support at these levels and make this sort of bump and run, well, the altcoins could have a very good run. This coupled with Bitcoin dominance coming down, right? Well, we could see the altcoin market have a bit of a pump. So this is key to what's going to happen over the next few months, right? What happens with Ethereum BTC? Does it continue down, right? Do we just keep following this trend of lower highs, and find support again and then go? Or do we just continue down, break these levels, and come further, right? This is something to keep your eye on over the next, few weeks to few months, because it's going to be a great indicator of what's going to happen. So this is something I'm really keeping my eye on because, it's a very interesting time. And, look, couple that, if we have a look, take a pull of a date range pull here, okay? Where is it again? This one. So date range, we take it from where we are, right, which is right here, and we take it, let's take it 2 months ahead, okay? Let's take it to weekly. So let's say the next all-time high on Bitcoin was supposed to break, or probabilities that it was going to break. Where am I? I'm going to go to daily because it's probably easier for you to see. Let's just say that the Bitcoin halving and its effect on the 4-year cycle, right? Let's just get rid of these tools. From this point here, takes us to October this year to break our previous all-time high. Well, that could play in quite well, right? let's just say it's, what do we say? I said October to December, right? So there's October and there's December. So let's just say it's about the end of this trend line, right? If Bitcoin price is going to make a new all-time high, you would assume by the end of this period here, right? You would assume in this period that price would possibly come down, find support here, break above here, and then start to head up, right? Bitcoin would still be outperforming the altcoins, but the amount of capital coming back into the market would be pushing this chart up. It'd be pushing the ETH BTC chart up dramatically, right? But you would assume that the Ethereum BTC chart would start gaining some traction, and it would likely not break those lows. Likely not. Yet to be seen, right? But Ethereum, let's if we mark it out to here to, let's say this October, December. Let's just say it's December, right? So we look at that. Take these off. Right. Gives an indication on how this could range for another few months, 3 or 4 months. Right. Price could just, range here before making any types of big moves, right? Price could come up, range down, break it, come back up and go. It all depends on what Bitcoin does. Okay. But it shows you that there's still plenty of time. There's plenty of time for the market to continue cooling and also to just keep ranging sideways, right? But it's something to keep in mind, right? There's a lot of time, to get into these positions for the next uptrend, right? Because based on the cycle, 4-year cycle halving theory, this 150 odd average days to 100 and we've got a BLX and 200 days that it takes to break its previous all-time high, right? Here it was 164, right? Right. That has happened every time. It's taken a period of time to break its all-time high post-halving. So one would assume that it's going to happen again, right? And we have all this period here for that to play out. However it happens, we have that time, right? So just stay focused. Don't rush into anything. Who knows what's going to happen. I'll just have a quick look at Solana. I've done it again. Get rid of that. Quick look at Solana while we're here. Go to a monthly chart. Okay, this is on Binance, by the way, USDT. So we have a monthly level here. Right. Monthly support. We have one here. It's another good level. Right. This one. Monthlies. Okay, so we've got a weekly. This is a very strong level here, up here. There's lots of, that's there, or weekly candle closes on the same level. So this monthly is very strong. That's been tapped. There's also another weekly here. So there's another weekly on top of this SR here. These are all, so our two monthlies are our probably two strongest levels here at the moment. We'll go to a daily. Go to a daily. And that one's sort of been tapped. Interesting. You can see how the top of this peak here has really played into almost the candle body has really this previous candle body top. We'll just put it as a daily SR for now. It's really played strong support along here, right? Seems to be holding quite nicely. The other thing I'll look at here as well is I want to see what it's doing with a anchored VWAP. So we'll take it from taking this uptrend here. Interesting. Right. So another one. Yeah. Which one else do I like? Put one from down here. Let's see where this one ends up. This low here. So I like this one from this uptrend here. This could be quite good support here. Let's see what's playing out from this one. That's interesting. Seems to be finding good support on this anchored VWAP from this consolidation area here. As you can see, prices found good, strong support on that. So what are we looking at here? I'm going to take a fixed range pull here from this high. We'll take it from this stall here to here. Okay, that's interesting. Point of control sig on this monthly SR. Let's just take this range here from here. Rejecting at the point of control at the moment. Yeah. Okay, so Solana has some strong support down here, right? Which has already found support at twice. Well, more than twice, obviously. But as this range is played out, it's keep finding it. So the question is here is what happens with Solana at this point in time, and what happens with, Bitcoin and Ethereum moving forward. So if we start to see weakness in the market, we could see Solana reject from this point of control, either find support here and then move back up to retest. And if it does, then we'll be going up to this value area high here. The problem is that this level has already been tested many times. So if the market is weak, the likelihood of this coming down and testing this level and holding it is becoming less likely, right? And if we do reject this VWAP, anchored VWAP, and this daily SR level here, well, then I'd be looking at this monthly, right, as our next area of support. And that's not that healthy because we're back under 100 US for Solana. But that could be a great buying opportunity, because if that's the case, then that takes us out to a period. If we look at our macro higher time frame again, that could take us out, into this October, December period, right? Depending on what happens, where Bitcoin is looking at breaking its previous all-time high, if that's to play out. So if Solana does come down to these levels, it could be one of the best buying opportunities of this cycle. Could it go lower? Sure, absolutely. But with time and price, this monthly support would be a great area to look at, right? And if we take this volume point of control back even further, right, look what comes on there. The point of control of this range, this whole range, is also on this monthly support level. Look at that. So that's a very strong level, okay? So that's what I'd be looking at Solana. If it does, if it doesn't hold this level, if something if the market's looking really weak, right, and it doesn't hold these levels, well, we'd be looking back down to these value area lows, and then look, that's something that we're, for a later date we'd look at if that's to play out. But for the moment, just in a medium term time frame, if we start rejecting here, right, back at this point of control where we were, and we do not break that, and we do not find support at this daily as that's where I'd be looking. However, if we see some strength in the market this week, right, and price comes back above this point of control, holds this point of control, and then moves up, our next area of interest is this value area high. And if it holds that, right, and breaks above, well, we'll be looking for this next monthly level, which is very strong support, as resistance, very strong. And, if things are looking good, well, if it breaks above that and goes, we're looking at all-time highs, right? Then we're on our way. That means the market's on its way. If Solana's doing that, then you would think that Ethereum's doing that, right? Ethereum's doing the same thing. Go on. Your all-time highs. ETH BTC would be starting to uptrend, right? This is if the market has positive market conditions. Things are going well, right? Monetary policy's eased. The volatilities is gone. They're talking about rate cuts. Which can go either way, right? Let's be honest, rate cuts aren't the best for these markets sometimes. But in the span of where we are in the cycle, this is what we could be seeing. Unless there's bad news coming out for some reason. Could there be another black swan? No one knows. Who knows? Anything's possible, especially what we've seen in the last 3 to 4 years. Anything's possible, right? Who knows what's next? But just make sure when you're trading in these markets, you have proper risk management, okay? If you're entering your trades, make sure you have a stop loss. Proper risk management, not risking your whole portfolio on these trades. Proper risk management. Only entering trades with 1% of your portfolio. Protecting yourself. Take profits. Take more than one profit, and take profits at these levels and pay yourself, right? Don't be that guy that holds the bag and just hope for the best, because we don't hope in this market. We play probabilities, and we use them to make money, and we play our hands with the probabilities in our favor, right? So what does all this mean for meme coins? Well, what this means for meme coins is if the market goes up, meme coins go up. At the moment, meme coins are suffering. They're going. There's a lot of red, okay, and it's because the markets are very indecisive. Bitcoin has it's pulled back, right? It has gained some strength in the last few days, the last week, sorry. But we're at a very a critical time and a critical point of what's going to happen next, okay? What's going to happen next? Where's it going to go? Is it going to continue, right? Let's just take this whole range here, get rid of this. This is our current range, right? Is it going to continue? Is it going to get back above this level? That's the number one thing. That's the one thing that we need to figure out. Is Bitcoin going to get back above here? If it rejects, where's it going to go? If it rejects, is it going to find support anywhere? Well, let's say it rejects here. We could be finding support here as long as there's the strong market conditions back on this, daily SR, as I said before. But we need to wait and see. If it does reject here, though, if it does reject here, it's not a great sign, okay? Because if you can't get back into this previous range here, right, which, you know, if it does get back into this range, on the contrary, let's just call this the range, right? This is our current range. If it gets back above here, right, that is one positive sign. We're back into this range, back above these levels, right? That's one positive. But however, there's this big hurdle to get across. It's critical. If we get back above and start going, probabilities are we're moving higher, okay? Because our next level's here, okay? So you have to watch the next level, 66,000. Get back above 62.5, 63, 66. Get back above that, range high, right? Well, value area high, sorry. Back above 71, right? Can it come up? Could it come up and sweep these highs, take out liquidity here and come back under, and then go dump? Absolutely. What, you know, this market is designed to wreck the most amount of people. That would wreck the most amount of people. That's a play that could definitely happen, right? So just be wary. If you are getting into longs, if you are in longs here, right? If you took a long from, you know, let's see here. Let's go back. Say you took a long from, where would you have got in? You would have got in probably at the 4 hour. Where would I have taken the long here? Yeah, probably would have taken along at the, yeah, obviously not one, I wouldn't just use this level of confidence, but let's say you entered along here, right? Get rid of these. You got into along there, right? You know, you could be hoping for this to go from all-time highs from here. Could it happen? Sure. Is it possible? Who knows? Not sure at the moment. We need time to play out. But if you are in a long from here, you would have wanted to take a profit. You wanted to take profits here, right? You want to be taking profits here and here, right? And if value error, pay yourself, right? Don't just hope for these to just moon, because it's likely that it won't. And if you've got your stop loss, you're protected. Make sure you always have your stop loss, right? The stop loss for this trade, if you had been in it, would have been under this wick here, okay? Under that wick there. Price comes below, you're protected. So make sure you always have the probabilities in your favor in this market, right? And just to recap, got to switch back to daily. BLX chart, just for reference, you can only use it in daily, higher time frames above the daily and above. But it's an excellent chart for high time frame reference. So this is what we're looking at, okay? I'm personally looking at sideways consolidation, you know, whether that sweeps these lows and comes back and finds support here and then goes. That's technically what I'll be looking at, you know, anywhere 40 to 50,000. You know, that's a pretty general area, but it's big support areas. This one down here, right? But in time, you know, it's in time frame sense of, you know, what the cycles are doing. You know, I think it's going to be a few more months at least till we can break our previous all-time highs. And that for me would be probably the end of this year. So anyway, I hope you guys took something from this today on this macro outlook. I waffled on a bit, but I do hope you took something from this, because it's a time to really pay attention, okay? It's a time to protect your capital, because, you know, the market as a whole is still trending down, okay? We're still in a downtrend. Although it's come up, we're coming up to some very important areas of resistance, right? And this is going to be crucial to where we're heading. So just keep your eye on that. don't rush into anything and let the trades come to you, right? Let the market show its hand. Let it show you what it wants to do, and then make an informed decision about entering then, okay? So until the next episode, I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thanks again.